A rumour about potential layoffs spreads, and the office becomes quiet as everyone scans for signs of danger. People stop sharing ideas and start protecting themselves, even though the work is meant to be collaborative. This pattern intensifies when internal threats, humiliation, and politics feel more immediate than competitors or market shifts. When leaders fail to provide support, stress chemicals rise and people shift into self-preservation rather than cooperation. The cost is seen in weaker trust, slower problem-solving, and a culture where mistakes are hidden rather than addressed. Over time, fear can damage health and performance, making progress feel exhausting and short-lived. In United States Marine Corps meals, juniors are served first, so leaders model sacrifice before their own comfort. This assumption creates a circle of safety where energy moves toward external dangers, not internal rivalries. Next, we define the circle of safety, the EDSO chemical system, cortisol stress, abstraction, and practical culture signals. This video is inspired by Leaders Eat Last by Sinek. Subscribe for more leadership tools that protect teams. A circle of safety is a workplace norm where individuals feel protected and supported by their colleagues within the group. Leaders establish this by reducing intimidation and by setting human values, trust, and decision-making as everyday standards. As internal danger decreases, information flows more freely because people no longer filter every message for political risk. Innovation improves as teams share ideas and burdens of stress, rather than hoarding credit or hiding problems. In some organizations, safety is reserved for an inner circle, leaving others to work in isolation. When people feel excluded, politics become entrenched, mistakes are covered up, and the group reacts more slowly to threats. The core responsibility of leadership is to ensure the safety and well-being of those within the circle, not just to assign tasks. When colleagues trust each other, they can face external pressures with greater courage and endurance. Establish clear standards for entry based on character and values, so that belonging's not limited to rank. Then extend protection to every role, because partial safety fosters distrust and turns cooperation into a transaction. EDSO identifies 4 chemical incentives: endorphins, dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, that shape group behaviour. 2 of these push individual progress, while the other 2 reward social bonds, so culture influences which motives dominate each day. Endorphins mask physical pain, helping individuals push through effort, while dopamine rewards milestones and goal chasing. Serotonin and oxytocin foster pride, trust, and loyalty, enabling teams to solve harder problems together. In a performance-only culture, rewards focus on hitting targets, making dopamine the main fuel and isolating individuals. People chase the next win like a quick hit, weakening relationships because trust requires a slower chemical build-up. Balanced cultures still pursue goals, but also reward service, generosity, and shared success across the tribe. This approach makes motivation more self-sustaining, as people feel both progress and belonging at the same time. Audit incentives and recognition, adding praise for helping others succeed, not just individual output. Create routines that build trust, as strong bonds enable leaps of greatness that solo work cannot match. Cortisol acts as an early warning chemical, triggering stress and anxiety when danger feels near or uncertain. It prepares a fight or flight response, which is useful briefly but damaging when it stays active too long. Persistent cortisol narrows attention, increases suspicion, and makes collaboration feel risky because everyone is scanning for threats. Even capable teams waste energy on self-protection, which reduces learning, innovation, and honest communication. When a layoff rumour spreads desk to desk, people stop focusing on customers and start worrying about survival math. That anxiety spreads like a herd alarm, and productivity falls until leaders remove the uncertainty or restore trust. The solution is not demanding positivity, it is reducing internal danger so cortisol can leave the system. When people believe leaders have their well-being at heart, trust becomes a biological reaction, not a slogan. Clarify threats quickly, listen openly, and choose actions that protect the whole group, even when trade-offs exist. If building calmer teams matters to you, subscribe for more practical leadership habits you can apply this week. Abstraction grows with scale, turning people into labels like customers, employees, and expenses that are easier to ignore. As distance increases, human meaning fades, so decisions are made based on numbers, while real lives remain invisible. This mindset can justify harmful actions because the affected person becomes an abstract metric rather than a neighbour. Over time, relationships weaken and culture becomes transactional, making it harder to build loyalty or sacrifice. A volunteer at a control panel hears a stranger scream, but continues delivering shocks because authority insists. When responsibility is outsourced upward, empathy turns off, and ordinary people can cause harm while feeling compliant. Accountability works best when tied to people, as pride and responsibility rise when humans are visible. A team can track metrics, but leaders must still make decisions as if every number represents someone's child. Reduce abstraction by spending time on the front line and asking who is affected before approving a decision. Then redesign reports and meetings to include stories and faces alongside metrics, making the cost of choices harder to dismiss. Human leadership begins by treating employees as people to be protected, not as resources to be managed. Trust is fostered by extending trust first, creating conditions where cooperation becomes natural rather than forced. When leaders listen and remove humiliating controls, people feel valued, and pride replaces obligation in daily work. The group starts protecting each other, which reduces breakdowns, improves problem solving, and strengthens resilience during hard times. At a factory where bells dictated breaks and time clocks tracked every minute, workers felt treated as less trusted. A new leader removed the clocks and bells and opened locked cages, signalling trust without demanding anything in return. Small signals like equal access, open doors, and shared rules expand the circle of safety across every role. When leaders protect the tribe in hard times, people repay with loyalty and effort because they want to. Start by removing one control that exists mainly to signal distrust and replace it with clear responsibility. Then hold leaders accountable for empathy and listening, because culture changes when conditions change, not when slogans change. Leadership is the choice to serve others, especially when fear tempts leaders to protect themselves first. A team performs best when leaders eat last, meaning they prioritize safety over status or perks. The circle of safety reduces internal threats, allowing trust, communication, and innovation to flourish. EDSO explains why progress and belonging require different chemical rewards and why imbalance leads to lonely achievement. Lower cortisol levels mean less wasted vigilance, allowing more attention to be directed toward customers, craft, and solving hard problems. Reducing abstraction restores empathy, ensuring that decisions reflect real people, and accountability shifts from metrics back to relationships. Choose one place where fear shows up, then remove the internal threat instead of blaming individuals for their reactions. Add one practice that builds serotonin and oxytocin, such as public recognition for service and time for genuine listening. Over time, these choices create teams that can face uncertainty head-on because they feel safe together. If a safer culture feels worth creating, subscribe for more lessons on leading with care and